So ano muna ang general characteristic ng Streptococcus? So Streptococcus class, this is gram-positive cocci in chain. Yun ang difference niya kay Staphylococcus. Now, we have to differentiate Streptococcus from Staphylococcus because take note that Streptococcus is also part of our flora. If you have Staphylococcus, you will most probably able to isolate Streptococcus as well. Kasi magkakasama lang sila as part of the flora. That's why it is important for us to differentiate Streptococcus from Staphylococcus. And how do we do that? First is we perform gram stain. When it comes to gram staining, as you can see, class, Streptococcus, they are gram-positive cocci. However, the cellular arrangement are arranged in chain. In chain sila. Kapag Staphylococcus, in pairs and clusters. Kapag Streptococcus, arranged in chain. Yan ang kanilang difference. Okay? Pangalawang difference nila is that pagdating sa catalyst test, Streptococcus is catalyst negative. Okay? Now, Streptococcus, some of the Streptococcus are also captophilic, meaning they require at least 5%. Okay, 5% of CO2 for it to grow. This refers to the Streptococcus pneumoniae. That is the one that is captophilic. Now, for the Streptococcus pneumoniae, it is also in chain. However, as you can see, class, if you take a look at the cells individually, they are lancet shape. Okay, lancet shape. Ibig sabihin nun, patulis ang kanilang dulo, just like a lancet. Okay, yan ang kanilang general characteristic. But the other Streptococcus, they look like this one. They are gram-positive cocci in chain. So, one way to differentiate the different species of the Streptococcus is to observe their growth in the blood agar. Because class, Streptococcus, they readily grow in blood agar and chocolate agar. So, bakit kailangan mo mag-culture sa chocolate agar muna? So, you need to culture in chocolate agar because, again, some of the Streptococcus are also fastidious. Some of them are also fastidious, okay? Meaning, they require extra supplement for them to grow. Tulad ng hemin that can be found on the chocolate agar, okay? And also the NAD. Now, besides the chocolate agar, you also need to culture on the blood agar. Bakit sa blood agar? Because blood agar is both selective and nutritive, meaning it can support the growth of microorganism since it is a nutritive media, plus it can also differentiate. It can differentiate the microorganism based on a different hemolytic pattern. Okay? So, ang mga Streptococcus, meron siya mga different hemolytic pattern. When you say hemolytic pattern, this is what it looks like. Like this one. This is the colony of the bacteria. As you can see, surrounding the colony, meron siyang clear halo. Meron siyang yellow color, which is a clear halo. This refers to beta hemolytic Streptococcus. This is the beta hemolysis. Ito naman class, meron siyang greenish color sa kanyang paligid ng colony, di ba? This refers to the alpha hemolysis. Okay? So bakit nagkakaroon ng hemolysis? Because class, there are some Streptococcus that is able to break down the red cell. Kasi nga class, ang mga Streptococcus, one of their virulence factors are hemolysins. Okay, meron sila mga hemolysins that is known to break down red cells. Especially this one. Especially your Streptococcus pyogenes and your Streptococcus agalactiae. They produce hemolysins that can completely break down the red cells surrounding the colony. That's why you can see here, meron silang clearing. Merong clearing sa paligid nila. Okay? That is a characteristic of beta hemolysis. Okay? And you can see this on Streptococcus pyogenes and Streptococcus agalactiae. Ito naman class, sa alpha hemolysis, yes, meron din silang hemolysin that can break down the red cells. However, the red cells are not completely broken down. Okay? So meron ka tinatawag ng partial hemolysis lang. They're able to break down the red cell but not completely. So this is known as partial hemolysis or what we call the alpha hemolytic. And this is characteristic of Streptococcus pneumoniae and the viridans streptococci. Okay? Now, some Streptococcus also has the characteristic known as the alpha prime or what we call the double zone of hemolysis, wherein meron kang dalawang layer ng hemolysis. So first, meron kang first layer like this one and meron kang pang second layer ng hemolysis over here. This is the alpha prime or the double zone hemolysis. Okay? also known as the wide zone hemolysis. So, sa mga wide zone hemolysis na yan, this is seen in other streptococcus. Okay? Yung iba naman, wala silang hemolysis. You can only see the normal colonies lang na walang mga breakdown ng red cells sa paligid. Okay? Those are known as the gamma hemolytic or the non-hemolytic. Okay? Kapag walang hemolysis, ang tawag is gamma or non-hemolytic. Okay? So, whenever we identify the streptococcus, let's say you're able to perform gram stain. Kasi class, pag nag-ID ka ng strep, una mo nang ginagawa is gram stain, di ba? And then you saw this cellular arrangement. Gram-positive cocci in chain. Anong next mong gagawin? Get the colonies and then test for the catalyst. Okay? Kapag catalyst negative yan, anong next mong gagawin? Check for the hemolytic pattern. Is it beta hemolytic, alpha hemolytic, alpha prime, or double zone, or non-hemolytic at all. Okay? And then once you identify kung anong klaseng hemolysis na yung meron, that's the time you're going to decide what are the different tests na gagawin pa. Okay? Kasi nga, again, sabi ko nga kanina, kapag yan ay beta hemolysis, that is either Streptococcus pyogenes or Streptococcus agalactiae. Kapag ito ay alpha hemolysis, this is either Streptococcus pneumoniae or viridans strep. So you have to perform different tests to differentiate them. Okay? Kapag naman alpha prime, those are other streptococci. Kapag naman non-hemolytic or gamma, those are the enterococcus. Okay? So, now streptococcus can also be grouped based on their Landsfeld classification. When you say Landsfeld classification, this refers to serotyping of the bacteria that can detect the different specific carbohydrate found in their cell wall. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Ibig sabihin, class, kada isang streptococcus daw, meron siyang unique na carbohydrate sa kanyang cell wall that can help identify them. Because one of the ways on how to identify streptococcus is through serotyping. When you say serotyping or serologic grouping, it means that you're going to test the bacteria on anti-serum. So may mga anti-serum ka that provides antibodies that can specifically react to the specific carbohydrate found on the cell wall of the bacteria. So that's how you identify it. Okay? So if you refer to the group A, meron siyang rhamnose and acetylglucosamine. For the group B, that is a rhamnose glucosamine polysaccharide. For the group C, rhamnose and acetylgalactosamine. For the group D, they have the teichoic acid, the adenine and glucose. And for the group F, they have the glucopyroxanil and acetylgalactosamine. So sino ba itong mga group A, group B, group C, group D na yan, tsaka group F? Sino sila? Ito sila, class. Okay? When you talk about group A, that refers to Streptococcus pyogenes. So Strep pyogenes is also known as group A strep. So kapag sabi mong group A strep, that also refers to Strep pyogenes. Group B strep, also known as Strep agalactiae. For the group C, dalawa yan, the Dysgalactiae and equi. For the group D, this is the bovis group. Also for the enterococcus, part sila ng group D streptococci. Okay? Now, for the Strep pneumoniae, wala siyang Landsfeld grouping. Bakit wala siyang Landsfeld grouping? It cannot be detected because Strep pneumoniae is being masked by a very thick capsule. Meron kasing capsule si Strep pneumoniae, kaya yung kanyang carbohydrate, yung kanyang Landsfeld group, hindi siya matest for Landsfeld grouping. Kasi nga, meron siyang very thick capsule. That is the Streptococcus pneumoniae. Okay? Also known as pneumococcus. Okay? And these are the hemolytic pattern. If it is beta hemolysis, sabi ko kanina, di ba? Take a look at the hemolytic pattern. If it is beta hemolysis, it can either be pyogenes, agalactiae, Dysgalactiae, or equi. If it is alpha, ang pinaka-pathogen natin is the Strep pneumoniae and of course the viridans streptococci. Okay? Especially this one, the viridans streptococci or the agenesis group, mutans group, mitis group, and the salivarius group. So those are the different streptococcus and their specific Landsfeld groupings. Now, again, for this table, it also shows you the different hemolysis. Besides the hemolysis, it can also show you the susceptibility pattern. So, when it comes to beta hemolytic streptococcus, ang dalawang pinaka-pathogen natin is Strep pyogenes and Strep agalactiae. So, what is the next test to do to differentiate them? The next test to do is to perform susceptibility testing. It should be bacitracin susceptible for pyogenes and bacitracin resistant for Agalactiae. Okay? Again, to differentiate pyogenes versus Agalactiae, mag-perform ka ng bacitracin test. Kapag susceptible, pyogenes yung sagot. Kapag resistant, it is Agalactiae. But take note that the resistance of the bacitracin cannot completely confirm Agalactiae because, as you can see, ang dami ring resistant kay Agalactiae. Ang daming resistant kay bacitracin, di ba? Resistant din yung iba kay bacitracin. So, whenever you test for Agalactiae, kapag bacitracin resistant, anong next test na gagawin mo? Perform what you call the CAMP test, this one. Because the CAMP test, that will confirm that it is really Streptococcus agalactiae. So later, papakita ko yung CAMP test. Okay? It is CAMP positive. Among the beta hemolytic strep and the other Streptococcus, only Agalactiae is CAMP test positive. Okay? Another one is sa alpha hemolysis. Sa mga alpha hemolytic streptococci, ang ating common na significant is of course the Streptococcus pneumoniae. That is the pathogen. Besides that, we also have the Streptococcus viridans. They are very similar. Okay? So, again, take a look at the alpha hemolysis. So, what is the test that can differentiate pneumoniae versus viridans? The answer is optokine testing. Okay? So, if the optokine is susceptible, the answer is strep pneumoniae. If the optokine is resistant, the answer is viridans streptococci. So dito pa lang sa optokine test, pwede mo nang sabihin na you really have Streptococcus pneumoniae. Okay? Now kapag resistant siya, other viridans strep. Yeah, then you have to perform other tests for viridans streptococci. Pagdating naman klase sa Enterococcus, for the Enterococcus, it has mixed pattern. It can be alpha, beta, or gamma hemolytic. Okay? For the Enterococcus, it is known to be resistant sa bacitracin. So, if you see beta hemolysis pero bacitracin resistant, it's either Agalactiae or Enterococcus. Kaya sabi ko kanina, kapag Agalactiae, you have to confirm with the CAMP test. For the Enterococcus naman, you have to confirm with the salt tolerance test or growth in 6.5% sodium chloride. Okay? Kasi nga, as you can see, the rest negative dyan. But for the Enterococcus, it is positive or it can grow at 6.5% sodium chloride. Okay, that is for the Enterococcus. Okay, yan. So another test pa pala that I forgot is the PYR testing. As you can see, class, sa PYR test, ilan lang yung positive natin sa Streptococcus. You have Strep pyogenes. You also have Enterococcus, that is PYR positive. Okay, and you also have the Aerococcus. But for the Streptococcus, again, PYR positive is the pyogenes and also the Enterococcus. Okay? Yun. Now, the rest of the Streptococcus, they're all LAP positive or leucine aminopeptidase positive. So, for the test of the leucine aminopeptidase, this can be used to compare it with the catalyst test. Kasi diba sabi ko kanina, lahat ng strep, catalyst positive. Lahat ng strep is also leucine aminopeptidase positive. Again, catalyst negative. Okay? Again, ang mga Streptococcus, they are catalyst negative. Lahat ng strep, catalyst negative. And then you can compare the result of the catalyst with the leucine aminopeptidase, wherein all Streptococcus are leucine aminopeptidase positive, or what you call the LAP. Kapag LAP, LAP, that refers to the leucine aminopeptidase test. Lahat sila ay positive. Okay? Now, for the Enterococcus, siya lang ang nag-iisa na bile esculin positive together with the group D Streptococci. But for the Streptococcus class, for the Enterococcus, you can compare the result of the 6.5% salt with the bile esculin. So kapag Enterococcus at nag-positive ka sa 6.5% salt, dapat positive din ang bile esculin. Okay? So those are the testing algorithm for the different Streptococcus. So, isa-isahin natin yung kanilang significance. So, sabi ko nga kayo na class, Streptococcus, this is also part of the flora. Diba? Kasama siya sa skin natin. Okay? So, nakita mo sa skin, genital tract, nasopharynx, even in your GIT. So, technically, kung saan mo nakikita si Staphylococcus, makikita mo rin si Streptococcus doon. Okay? However, class, meron tayong exception. Exception of that is the Streptococcus pyogenes. It is not part of the flora. Kapag nagkaroon ka ng pyogenes, what will happen to you? Magkakaroon ka ng strep throat and other complications pa because that is a true pathogen, the Streptococcus pyogenes. Another not part of the flora is the Streptococcus pneumoniae. It can colonize your nasopharynx, giving you meningitis and pneumonia. Okay? So, dalawa lang hindi part ng flora dyan. The Streptococcus pyogenes and Streptococcus pneumoniae. Those are true pathogen. For the pyogenes, magkakaroon ka ng throat infection and other complications pa. For the pneumonia, magkakaroon ka ng pneumonia and meningitis. Okay? Those are the true pathogens. So let's talk about the beta hemolytic streptococci. So dalawang class ang beta hemolytic strep. Meron kang strep pyogenes and also the strep agalactiae. So simulan muna natin si strep pyogenes. So strep pyogenes is also known as flesh-eating bacteria. It is known to cause a condition called necrotizing fasciitis. So this is what a necrotizing fasciitis looks like. Okay? Caused by the streptococcus. It can also cause impetigo or streptococcal impetigo like this one. It can also cause, this is erysipelas. Okay? This is what you call the erysipelas. Okay, so yan yung mga disease associated with beta hemolytic streptococci or the Streptococcus pyogenes. So they can cause skin infection, diba? So pagdating sa skin infection, again, impetigo, cellulitis, erysipelas, necrotizing fasciitis. Okay, as you can see here on the picture. This is the fasciitis, impetigo, erysipelas. Okay? Those are the skin infections. Now, besides the skin infection, yung pinaka-primary infection talaga ni pyogenes is the acute pharyngitis or what you call the strep throat. Strep throat muna yan, class. Okay? Now, the strep throat, it must resolve. Dapat gumaling ka dyan after taking some antibiotics. However, class, there are some patient who tend to get strep throat all the time. Pabalik-balik yung strep throat, particularly sa children, di ba? That's why it is recommended to remove the tonsils of the children. Kapag palagi sila nagkaka-tonsillitis, inaalis yun. Bakit? Kasi this repeated strep pyogenes infection, this can lead to different complications. Ano yung complication niya? Pwede siya magkaroon ng rheumatic fever or what you call the heart disease. Kapag rheumatic fever, ibig sabihin ng class, yung mga antibodies ng bata being produced against the pyogenes, they tend to attack the tissue of the heart ng bata. Kaya nagkakaroon siya ng heart condition or what you call the rheumatic fever as a complication of the Streptococcus pyogenes. Okay? So, another complication niya is the glomerulonephritis. So, ganun din kapag glomerulonephritis. Yung antibody being produced by the patient against the pyogenes, it will also attack the kidneys. Kaya nagkakaroon ka ng glomerulonephritis. These two, rheumatic fever and glomerulonephritis, these are complications of repeated Streptococcus pyogenes infections. Okay? Now, besides that, it can also lead to myositis. Kapag myositis, again, injury of the muscles na yan. Kasi nga, merong infection na kumakalat. So from necrotizing fasciitis, na nasa skin pa lang, yung infection niya, it can spread to your connective tissue, going to your muscles, causing myositis. Kapag nasa muscles na, pwede mag-spread sa blood, causing bacteremia. And it can also spread to your different organs. It can also lead to pneumonia, scarlet fever, streptococcal toxic shock syndrome. Kapag toxic shock syndrome, again, systemic na yon, that can affect the different organs of the body, that can lead to hypotension and death. Okay? So that is the different diseases ng pyogenes. So ano yung mga kanyang virulence factor? Una, meron siyang protein F that makes it attached to cells. Meron siyang hyaluronic acid capsule that inhibits phagocytosis. It also has an M protein that is also antiphagocytic. It also has streptolysin O, streptolysin S, that is known to lyse cells. Kaya nga class, ang pyogenes, it is beta hemolytic. Beta hemolytic siya class kasi nga meron siya mga lysine. Ito yung mga lysine that can lyse red cells. Okay, kaya siya nagiging beta hemolytic. It also has streptokinase that can lyse clots. It has DNase, hyaluronidase. So streptokinase, DNase, and hyaluronidase, these are used by the bacteria to spread the infection. Kasi ang streptokinase, it can lyse clot. DNase, it can lyse the cells. And also hyaluronidase, this can digest connective tissue. So yung tatlong factor niya ginagamit niya to spread the infection throughout the body. Okay? Also, mayroon siyang SPE or what you call the exotoxin that can lead to toxic shock syndrome or even death Okay, kasi itong SPE niyan, exotoxin niya, kumakalat niya sa katawan, that can lead to scarlet fever or what you call the streptococcal rash. Kapag scarlet fever class, meron kang fever, sore throat with rashes. Okay, that is being caused by the Streptococcus pyogenes. So besides that, the toxin can also spread to your body, causing toxic shock syndrome that can lead to death. Okay, so yan ang magiging effect ni Streptococcus pyogenes. Sabi nga dito, meron siyang streptolysin O and S. Now, streptolysin S it is oxygen stable. It is known to lyse erythrocytes, white blood cell, and platelets. Streptolysin O naman, it can also lyse the same cells. It also lyses the RBC. Kaya nga sabi ko kanina, pyogenes is beta hemolysis because of the streptolysin O and streptolysin S. Okay? So these are the different tests for the strep pyogenes. Nasabi ko na ito kanina sa inyo. Now, this is what you call the stabbing culture technique, wherein you get a colony of the Streptococcus pyogenes and then you stab it into the agar. As you can see, after inoculation, after incubation, makikita mo, nagpo-produce siya ng hemolysis. Kasi nga, meron siyang mga streptolysin O and streptolysin S that can lead the beta hemolysis reaction, like this one. Okay? Now, one of the tests to screen for Streptococcus pyogenes complication. Kasi klasa, ang problema kasi kapag nagkaroon ka ng pyogenes are the complications. Again, sabi ko kanina, pwede siya mag-lead sa rheumatic fever or glomerulonephritis. And how do you test for that? You may perform a test known as ASO. For the ASO testing class, the specimen being used is the serum. The serum, 2 months after the infection. Okay? Bakit 2 months after the infection? Kasi nga, complication. Ang rheumatic fever is complication of the strep pyogenes. Ibig sabihin noon, kapag wala ka ng primary infection, doon mo lang makikita yung complication niya. Okay? So, ano yung pinaka-best specimen? The serum, kasi na doon yung mga antibody. So, the serum, 2 months after the infection, you're going to test that with what they call the ASO titer. This is the ASO test. Okay? So, for the ASO test, this is a latex test, wherein you're going to add the serum of the patient here on the latex reagent and then just emulsify it, mix it. Kapag nagkaroon siya ng agglutination like this one, nag-agglutinate siya, it means meron siyang antibody against the Streptococcus pyogenes. Positive siya sa ASO or what you call the anti-streptolysin O antibody. Okay? Kapag ganon, ibig sabihin class, at risk siya, probably, baka meron na nga siyang rheumatic fever. So yung cardio, check niya yung heart niya, kung okay ba yung function, o kung hindi man yung heart niya yun, yung kanyang kidney baka affected na rin. Okay? So that is the purpose of testing for the ASO. You have to test for the complication, such as rheumatic fever and also the glomerulonephritis. Okay? So these are the other virulence factors. Class, ito nasabi ko na kanina do sa table, yung mga virulence factor. So naka-itemize lang siya. And anyway, take note of the following. Okay? For the lipoteichoic acid and protein F, again, these are adhesion molecules then. Besides that, meron siya fibronectin binding protein. So lahat yan to attach the bacteria to the cell. And it also has a capsule that can evade phagocytosis. Okay? Again, and yung kanyang mga spreading factor, the DNAs, you can lyse the DNA of your cells. Meron kang streptolysin O, streptolysin S that can cause lysis ng mga cells. Nasabi ko na yung kanina. And it also has the erythogenic toxin that can cause the scarlet fever. So again, nakapag scarlet fever, so meron kang primary infection of pharyngitis with fever and rashes. Okay, that is the scarlet fever. And then it is being caused with the pyrogenic exotoxin or what you call the erythrogenic toxins. And these are the following. Okay, the SP, A, B, C, and F. Now, for this one, it is known to, it functions as super antigens. That's why nagkakaroon ka ng rashes as a reaction to that. Another one is the T substance. For the T substance, this is obtained from Streptococcus that is able to differentiate the Streptococcus pyogenes into different serotypes. Okay, because you can use this T substance to detect the different serotypes of the Streptococcus pyogenes because it is antigenic. Next is the enzyme. So kayo na nga sabi ko, gumagawa siya mga enzymes to spread the infection, di ba? So for the streptokinase, this can lyse clots. That's why streptokinase at low concentration, this has been used and harvested as a treatment for pulmonary emboli, coronary artery, and venous thrombosis. So ginagamit siya as treatment sa mga patient with clots. Yung streptokinase naman class, ang purpose na is to liquefy and remove pus and necrotic tissue. It also decreases the viscosity of DNA. So it acts like a DNase enzyme, okay, the streptokinase. Another one is the hyaluronidase. Again, this will digest the connective tissue by splitting hyaluronic acid. That's why it can spread the infection. So ito yung kanyang mga spreading factor. Okay? Now, next is the infection. So sabi ko kanina, it can cause kanyang primary infection is strep throat or pharyngitis. Sa mga skin infection, meron kang impetigo, cellulitis, erysipelas, necrotizing fasciitis, scarlet fever as well, kasi may rashes dyan. Okay? Pero class kapag scarlet fever, again, meron kang pharyngitis with rashes. That is a characteristic of scarlet fever. For the toxic shock syndrome, this is a complication naman that can lead to multi-system involvement. So kumakalat na yung bacteria sa katawan mo. And then the toxin that causes the shock is the SPEA. This is the one that can lead to the toxic shock syndrome. Okay? That can lead to hypotension and shock. Rheumatic fever, again, ito yung dalawang complication niya, the rheumatic fever and also the acute glomerulonephritis that I have mentioned earlier. Okay? So this is what it looks like whenever you are performing the differentiation test between the Agalactiae and the Pyogenes. So sabi ko nga kanina, kapag beta hemolytic strep, ano una mong ginagawa? Bacitracin testing. So I already mentioned this earlier. Bacitracin muna. Kapag susceptible, ang answer is Pyogenes. Kapag resistant, mag-perform ka ng CAMP test. If it is CAMP positive, then the answer is Agalactiae. Okay? If it is CAMP negative, then the answer is other Streptococcus. Okay? So, ano pa yung isang test to confirm for Pyogenes? You may also perform the PYR testing. So this is the PYR test for the Streptococcus pyogenes. Again, the PYR. It is PYR positive like this one. So this is the bacitracin testing. Okay. So again, what you do is that you need a blood agar, and then you're going to culture this with a bacteria. Then place on top the bacitracin disc. Then incubate overnight. Kinabukasan, ito na kanyang itsura. Again, this is what it looks like after incubation. Kinabukasan. This is what it looks like after 24 hours. After 24 hours, may kita mo, tububo na yung bacteria niya. And then you can see yung kanyang bacitracin, meron ng reaction. Dito, since yan ay susceptible, merong zone of inhibition, ang sagot dito is the Streptococcus pyogenes. Ito naman, since wala kang zone of inhibition, ang sagot is the Streptococcus agalactiae. It is resistant. Okay? Kapag resistant, agalactiae. Kapag naman susceptible, it is Pyogenes. Now, since resistant yung Agalactiae mo, you have to confirm with the CAMP test. This is what the CAMP test looks like. For the CAMP test, you're going to streak the Staphylococcus aureus here, and then streak the Streptococcus agalactiae over here. And then incubate overnight. Kinabukasan itong kanyang itsura. So kinabukasan, may kita mo, may growth yung bacteria. Ito yung Staph aureus, ito naman yung Streptococcus agalactiae. And then you can see, meron siyang arrowhead hemolysis at the side. Okay? This is the Streptococcus agalactiae. Meron siyang arrowhead hemolysis. Now, next is the culture. Now, for the culture, ano importante class sa culture? So, sabi ko nga kanina, kapag nag-culture ka, you may use blood agar and also chocolate agar. But for the blood agar, ang pinaka-best is you supplement it with trimethoprim sulfamethoxazole so that you'll be able to inhibit the contaminants such as the normal flora. Okay? Now, sometimes antigen detection kit is also present. You can also use that to detect the Agalactiae and even the Streptococcus pyogenes. So for the colony, so nasabi ko na kayo na yung colony again. Pakibasa na lang. Again, kapag yan ay beta hemolysis, it is Pyogenes or Agalactiae. These are the different laboratory tests. Nasabi ko na rin ito kanina class. So, we'll skip that. Tapos na tayo dyan. Anyway, let's go to Agalactiae. So, for the Streptococcus Agalactiae naman class, again, sabi ko nga kanina, this is the bacteria that is also beta hemolytic. Besides being beta hemolytic, anong pang kanyang characteristic? It is CAMP test positive. Okay? It can also hydrolyze hepurate. So it is hepurate hydrolysis positive as well. Okay? That is for the CAMP. That is for the Streptococcus agalactiae. Now for the agalactiae, this is a significant pathogen. Okay, bakit class? Actually class, ang agalactiae, it is actually part of the flora. Flora siya ng mga females sa kanilang genital tract. Okay. So almost all of the females, karamihan sa mga babae, they carry the Streptococcus agalactiae in their genital tract. So it only becomes a problem if the woman is going to give birth. Kapag siya ay buntis at manganganak na. Why? Because if the woman gives birth through normal delivery, the baby might get the Streptococcus agalactiae. Kapag na-infect yung baby, ano mangyayari? Magkakaroon siya ng sepsis or meningitis. Okay? And then yung mother naman, yung bacteria, pwedeng pumasok sa kanyang blood that can lead to abortion fever. Okay? So ito yung mga infection. So sa baby, because of the rupture of the mother's membrane, okay? And then yung mga bacteria na-infect yung baby. What will happen to the baby? Magkakaroon siya ng sepsis, fever, meningitis, respiratory distress, lethargy, and hypotension. So this can happen sa mga bata during the early onset of life, meaning within the first 5 days for the time na pinanganak yung baby. Pwede na ito makita sa baby. Or within 7 days up to 3 months after birth. Okay? So again, this can lead to complications on the child. Okay? Pagdating naman sa mother, since yung mother is nanganak siya, di ba? The bacteria, it can also enter. It can also enter the bloodstream of the mother, causing infection. Anong infection pwede makuha ng mother? Endometritis, wound infection, abortion fever, pelvic abscess, and septic shock. So pwedeng mamatay yung mother because of sepsis, okay, after giving birth. So that is the complication of Streptococcus agalactiae. That's why class, it is recommended that if you are pregnant and if you reach the 35th to 37th week of gestation, dapat matest ka na for Streptococcus agalactiae. Because if you are a carrier, kailangan bigyan ka na ng ampicillin para mawala yung agalactiae mo. So that you won't have this risk of getting infection or giving the infection to the baby. Ngayon, just in case hindi ka na test for agalactiae at hindi ka nabigyan ng treatment na ampicillin. So pag nanganak ka, ang pwedeng bigay sa iyo is the penicillin. Pwede naman. Pwedeng ibigay doon sa baby and pwedeng ibigay doon sa mother. However, class, malaki yung risk. Yung mother, pwede siyang mamatay after giving birth because of the sepsis. Okay? Kasi nga, ito yung kanyang complication. Endometritis, pelvic abscess, and septic shock. Abortion fever. Okay? Yan yung mga complication niya. The infection can also go to the heart, causing tricuspid valve endocarditis. So, nakakamatay talaga siya sa mga nanganganak. So, yan ang delikado kay Streptococcus agalactiae. Okay? So, bakit siya virulent? Kasi nga, meron siyang capsule. Meron siyang sialic acid, hemolysin, neuraminidase, DNase, hyaluronidase, protease that can spread the infection. Okay? Yan. So how do you test for those women who are carrier? Anong ginagawa nating test? So we collect the genital swab or the vaginal swab and then we place that on different broth. And then we may also culture it. So pwede na gamitin mo yung Todd Hewitt broth, Lim broth, tapos mag-culture ka na lang sa blood agar and chocolate agar, and then check kung yan ba talaga ay Streptococcus agalactiae. Pwede yun. Or meron tayong another method na much more specific and much more less ang time, which is the Strep B carrot broth. For the Strep B carrot broth class, iswab mo lang yung vagina and then you place that in the Strep B carrot broth and then incubate for about 6 hours. So after 6 hours class, kapag naging orange red yung color ng Strep B carrot broth, then it is positive. Okay, positive na siya. Okay. So again, the broth will turn orange or red. It is positive for Streptococcus agalactiae. So much more mabilis siya kasi nga hindi mo na kailangan mag-perform pa ng other test. Okay? Just get the swab, ilagay mo yung Strep B carrot broth, kapag naging red or orange, then it is also considered as Streptococcus agalactiae positive. Okay? Now, besides the CAM test, if you choose na mag-culture ka, after the culture, mag-CAM test ka. Okay? It is CAM positive. Besides the CAM test, it is also positive for heparate hydrolysis. So, dalawa yung test niya. Heparate hydrolysis positive and CAM test positive. So, this is the CAM test. So, paano ba ginagawa yung CAM test? For the CAM test class, ang principle niya is to detect the enhanced hemolysis. Bakit enhanced hemolysis? Kasi nga, ang agalakshi, it is automatically beta hemolytic na. Now, if you culture that near the Staphylococcus aureus, the Staph aureus also produces the protein known as beta lysine. Now, the beta lysine, together with the Streptococcus agalakshi, they will react, causing what you call the enhanced hemolysis or what you call the arrowhead formation. Okay. Just wait lang ha. Okay. Ayun. Again so for the CAM test, what you do is you streak here the Staph aureus. Kasi Staph aureus, this will supply the beta lysine that can react with the hemolysins found in the Streptococcus agalakshi, causing what you call the enhanced hemolysis or what you call the arrowhead formation like this one. Okay? That is the CAM test. Yun ang kanyang principle. Now, for the CAM test, again, besides the CAM test, the agalakshi can also hydrolyze heparate. That's why it is heparate hydrolysis positive. Again, besides that, it is also PYR positive for the pyogenes. But for the pyogenes, it's PYR positive. So differentiate pyogenes and the agalakshi. Again, ito yung mga test na gagawin mo. For the pyogenes, you have to perform the PYR reaction. For the agalakshi, you have to perform the CAM test and the heparate hydrolysis test. Now, so ito yung mga tests, again, to differentiate agalakshi and pyogenes. Again, PYR. If it is PYR positive, the answer is pyogenes. Kapag negative, agalakshi. If it is heparate hydrolysis positive, the answer is agalakshi. Kapag negative, the answer is pyogenes. So both of them are beta hemolytic streptococci. Okay? Yeah. Now for the group N strep, this is the one that can be found in the souring of milk. Okay, they are non-pathogenic. For the other groups, the group E, F, G, H, and K to U, these are found in animals, very rarely found in humans. So now let's go to the Streptococcus pneumoniae. So ano ba naman ang pneumonia? Now for the pneumonia class, again, this is the bacteria that is known to cause pneumonia and meningitis. Kaya tinawag na pneumonia, di ba? Kasi nga, lalo na sa bata, it can lead to pneumonia and meningitis, and even otitis media. So anong kanyang characteristic? Again, kapag Streptococcus pneumoniae, sabi ko nga kanina, they are alpha hemolytic. Okay, alpha hemolytic siya. Okay? Besides that, the Gram-Stein, meron siyang lancet shape. Lancet shape. Kapag lancet shape, ibig sabihin noon, Gram-positive cocci in chain pa rin siya. But if you can take a look closely, yung kanyang pagiging cocci, medyo patuli sa dulo. Okay? Lancet shape. That is the Streptococcus pneumoniae. Okay? Besides that, the colonies of the Streptococcus pneumoniae is also autolytic. When you say autolytic class, ibig sabihin noon, kusa siya nasisira on its own. That's why the shape is concave, like this one, concave. Meron kang bilog dyan na parang meron siyang butas sa gitna. Ang tawag dyan is dome with a depressed center or coin with a raised ring. Okay? Kasi nga yung gitna niya, kusang nasisira, autolytic siya. Kaya yung kanyang colony, nagsimula yan bilang isang typical na colony na dome shape, di ba? Pero as time goes by, habang tumatagal yung incubation, nasisira yung mga cells niya. Kaya as you can see, naging concave siya. Wherein sa gitna niya, meron siyang palubog sa gitna. Yan, palubog sa gitna, like that. Okay? That is the depressed dome shape appearance of the Streptococcus pneumoniae. Now, as you can see on the colonies class, meron tayong tinatawag ng mga mucoid strain. Kapag mucoid strain yan ng alpha hemolytic streptococcus, ito yung delikado class. This is the one na merong capsule that can lead to meningitis and pneumonia. Okay, kapag nakakita ka ng mga mucoid strain. Okay? So, what makes it pathogenic? The reason behind is the capsule. Yun ang kanyang primary virulence factor. Kaya nga nagkakaroon ka ng meningitis dyan. Okay? It also has pneumolysine that can destroy cells. It also has secretory IgA protease that can counteract the effect of IgA antibody. Ano ba yung IgA antibody class? Class ang IgA, this is your antibody found on the nose and also on the mucous membrane. Basta meron kang mucous membrane, meron kang IgA dyan. So once nasinghot mo yung bacteria na Streptococcus pneumoniae, dapat patayin siya ni IgA. Kaso nga lang klase pneumonia, meron siya panglaban kay IgA. Meron siyang secretory IgA protease that can counteract the effect of IgA. Kaya niyang sirain si IgA class kasi nga protease siya. Okay? So that's why kahit may IgA ka sa ilong mo, pag nasinghot mo na yung bacteria na yan, magkaka-pneumonia ka or meningitis or otitis media. Yan ang common na complication niya. Okay? Sepsis din, okay, with or without bacteremia. Next is, yan. So this is the alpha hemolytic streptococci. So again, kapag alpha hemolysis, dalawa ang possible na sagot. Pwedeng Streptococcus pneumoniae or viridans streptococci. Kapag viridans, part yan ng flora. Kapag pneumoniae, never siya part ng flora. Again, this is a true pathogen. Okay? So again, kapag pneumonia, it is being caused by a capsule. Yan ang kanyang primary virulence factor. Besides the capsule, meron siyang pneumolysine and the secretory IgA protease. That's why it can lead to meningitis, pneumonia with or without sepsis, and also endocarditis, otitis media, sinusitis, and peritonitis. Ito yung mga disease caused by Streptococcus pneumoniae. Kapag viridans strep naman class, kapag viridans, again, it has various types of infection. Okay? Pwedeng dental caries, meningitis, urogenital tract infection, endocarditis, sepsis, pneumonia. So different infections being caused by the viridans. Okay? So let's go back to the pneumonia. For the pneumonia, this is also known as Streptococcus. This was formerly a member of the viridans group. Ang pneumonia class, dati siyang member ng Metis group under the viridans. Pero ngayon nahiwalay na siya kasi nga siya ay isang significant pathogen. So ang tawag sa kanya is pneumococcus. So one of the tests to screen kung meron ka ngang pneumococcus is to perform the CRP. Now for the CRP class, that is a test to detect inflammation or infection. Now, however class, ang CRP kasi, hindi siya specific sa pneumococcal infection. Basta meron kang CRP positive, ibig sabihin nun, meron kang infection. Pero, hindi siya nagdetect mismo ng Streptococcus pneumoniae. It only detects that you have inflammation or infection. That's why, kapag ikaw ay nag-CRP positive, anong next step na gagawin mo? You may perform culture. Okay, kapag culture, anong ginagawa natin? We culture that on the blood agar and also on the chocolate agar. Okay? And then, we look for the hemolysis. Kapag alpha hemolysis yan, possible nga na Streptococcus pneumoniae. So what is the next test to do kapag yan ay alpha hemolysis? You may perform the optokin testing and also the Neufeld test or what you call the capsular swelling test. For the capsular swelling test, what you do is, you get the colony, okay? And then you incubate that with the anti-serum for Streptococcus pneumoniae. And then after a few hours of incubation, after 6 hours of incubation, you're going to take a look at them under the microscope. Kapag nakita mo, meron siyang swelling. Yung mga cells niya biglang lumaki, biglang namaga yung mga cells. Ibig sabihin noon, that is capsular swelling positive or what you call the Kellang reaction positive. Okay? Kapag merong capsule, merong Kellang reaction, possible na yan ay Streptococcus pneumoniae. Okay? That is if you see alpha hemolytic colonies. Ito yung initial test mo na ginagawa. So after performing the Neufeld test and the Kellang reaction, and seeing the Kellang reaction, anong next step na gagawin mo? Doon ka na mag-perform ng optokin testing. Okay? For the optokin testing, so this is the optokin testing. What you do is, you get the alpha hemolytic colony from the blood agar and then you culture it again sa isa pang blood agar. Okay? And then you add the optokin disc on top. And then incubate overnight. Kinabukasan, this is what it looks like. As you can see, yung mga bacteria tumubo na. And then, yung isa, merong zone of inhibition, yung isa wala. This is susceptible, this is resistant. Okay? Kapag susceptible, kapag merong zone of inhibition, the answer is Streptococcus pneumoniae. Yun na yun. Pneumonia na siya. Okay, bakit masabing pneumonia? Kasi nga, nag-test ka na kanina. Positive na siya. Positive siya sa Neufeld test. Meron nga siyang capsule, the capsular swelling or what you call the Kellang reaction positive. Plus, alpha hemolytic siya. And then, nag-perform ka pa ng optokin testing. Kinabukasan, siya ay susceptible, ang sagot mo ay Streptococcus pneumoniae. Okay? Ngayon, kung hindi ka pa convinced about this reaction, you may also perform other tests tulad ng bile solubility testing, wherein you're going to drop bile salts on the blood agar colonies and then look for the hemolysis. Kapag nag-lyse or nag-clear, it is really Streptococcus pneumoniae. Kasi nga ang pneumonia, autolytic yung mga colonies niyan. So if you add bile, yung kanyang lysis ng colony will be enhanced. Okay? Yan ang magiging effect niya. So, kapag naman resistant like this one, the answer is viridans streptococci. Viridans ito class. Okay, viridans kapag octokin resistant. So, kapag octokin resistant, anong next mong gagawin? Perform the bile esculin. Kapag nag-negative sa bile esculin, ang sagot talaga is viridans. Kapag nag-positive, it can be Enterococcus. So perform the salt tolerance, the PWR. If it is both positive, then the answer is Enterococcus. Okay? So this is the diagnostic algorithm for the alpha hemolytic strep. So for the lab diagnosis, again, for the Streptococcus pneumoniae, this is the one that needs CO2. You have to intubate this in CO2 kasi nga, yun yung kanya requirement. This is capnophilic, diba? So again, the colonies are dome-shaped with a depressed center or what you call the collapse dome shape. Okay? Bakit collapse? Kasi nga, it is autolytic. So yung gitnang part ng kanyang colony, it automatically lyses, giving it a concave appearance or what you call the depressed dome shape appearance. Okay? Sa iba namang book, ang kanyang description is coin with a raised rim. Okay? So, besides being octokin susceptible, you may also perform the bile solubility testing. For the bile solubility, all you need to do is to add drops of bile salt on the colony. Kapag nag-lyse siya, definitely it is bile soluble. So it means you have Streptococcus pneumoniae. Okay? So Streptococcus pneumoniae, ang treatment dyan is penicillin. However, sometimes meron ka mga resistant pattern against penicillin. Next is the viridans. Now, for the viridans streptococci naman class, again, ito yung sinasabi ko kanina na part of the flora. Okay? Usually, you can find the viridans on the upper respiratory tract. So sa ating nose, nasopharynx, sa ating mouth, sa ating feet, sa ating bibig, sa ating throat. Lahat yan, meron tayong viridans streptococci. Okay? So, for the viridans strep, this is actually a group of streptococcus. Meron kang mutants group, salivarius group, bovis group, aeruginosus, and also the mitis group, which is the group na dating classification ni Streptococcus pneumoniae. Okay? So kapag marami kang different Streptococcus, pwede siyang under the viridans streptococci. Again, kapag viridans, it is composed of different groups of bacteria. So, since different groups siya, yung kanyang hemolytic pattern, walang distinct hemolytic pattern. It can either be alpha hemolysis, gamma hemolytic, okay? But most of the significant pathogen under the viridans are alpha hemolytic, okay? So, the colonies are also very small. It can also be beta hemolytic din. Pwede rin, okay? So, variable ang kanyang hemolytic pattern. Now, pagdating naman class sa infection, viridans streptococci normally doesn't cause infection. Hindi siya dapat mag-cause ng sakit kasi nga part siya ng flora, ang viridans, okay? Again, this is a part of the normal flora. However, nagiging significant lang siya once they're able to gain access to sterile site. For example, nag-undergo ka ng dental procedure and then nasugat yung gums mo. So yung bacteria mo na viridans pumasok sa gums mo, it is able to reach your bloodstream. Pumasok na sa blood mo yan. That's the time na magkakaroon ka ng sepsis, endocarditis, pneumonia. So pwede siyang kumalat sa katawan mo because of the accidental dental injury na nakapasok siya sa blood mo because of your dental surgery, kaya na-infect ka ng viridans streptococci. So that's how you can get infected with this bacteria. Okay? Again, it is part of the flora, hindi siya dapat mag-cause ng infection. Now, so for the aeruginosus group, now just in case makapasok siya sa loob ng katawan mo, this is what the infection that can cause. For the aeruginosus, it can cause abscess in the oropharynx, brain, and peritoneal cavity. For the tonsillatus, it can cause pharyngitis and also endocarditis. For the bovis, it can cause sepsis, bacteremia, endocarditis. For the galolyticus, it can be correlated with GIT carcinoma. For the mutants, this is known to cause dental caries. So, or what you call the tooth decay. So, pwede kang magkaroon ng sira sa ngipin kapag masyado ka maraming Streptococcus mutans sa bibig mo. Okay? Contributor siya sa dental caries or tooth decay. Okay? That is the Streptococcus mutans group. Now, next is the Enterococcus. So, ano bang Enterococcus class? Again, kapag Enterococcus, this is the gamma hemolytic streptococci or what you call the group D streptococcus. Okay? So, for the Enterococcus class, pagdating sa kanyang virulence factor, little is known about the virulence factor. Okay? However, it is known to adhere to cells. Meron na siyang mga cytolysins, metabolic capabilities, MDR resistance can also be seen. Okay? Now, ano class yung disease associated with the Enterococcus? Most of the time, class, it is UTI. Basta Enterococcus, UTI ang unang infection na may isipin mo dyan. Besides sa UTI, it can also cause bacteremia, endocarditis, abdomen, infections on the abdomen and pelvis, and also bone infection. But number one infection niya is, of course, the UTI. So, meron kang dalawang significant species. You have the Enterococcus fecalis and Enterococcus faecium. Okay? Okay. So, okay. So, most clinical lab, they don't identify Enterococcus na. Okay? Bakit hindi na kailangan ma-identify ng Enterococcus? Kasi nga, class, wait lang. Wait lang, class. Hello, class. Okay. So, for the Enterococcus sa mga class, most of the laboratory, they do not identify the Enterococcus na. Okay? Bakit, class? Kasi, ang Enterococcus talaga, class, as long as it is 6.5% salt positive, Enterococcus na yun. Okay? However, class, another reason is that Enterococcus, it is rarely isolated. Again, pagdating sa infection, it only causes UTI. And then most of the time, Enterococcus is susceptible siya sa mga antibiotic for UTI. Okay? Now, for the identification of the Enterococcus, ang pinaka-best test na gagawin mo is to perform growth in 6.5% sodium chloride. Okay? So if it is gamma hemolytic like this one, wala siyang hemolysis. And then, you're able to perform bile esculin. If it is bile esculin positive, it can grow sa 6.5% salt. PYR positive, it is Enterococcus. Kapag negative, other streptococcus siya. Okay? So it is PYR positive, lab positive, grows in 45 degrees, and 6.5% sodium chloride positive. Yan ang characteristic ni Enterococcus. So this is what the bile esculin test looks like. As you can see over here, on the left side, meron siyang blackening of the agar if you culture that on the bile esculin agar. So ang tawag dito sa agar is the bile esculin agar. Kapag naging black, ang tawag is blackening. This is positive reaction sa bile esculin test. You may have Enterococcus. Okay? Now, for the succeeding slide, itong slide class na ito, these are just the summary ng mga diniscuss ko. So as you can see, nakalagay dito ano yung mga important laboratory tests, ano yung mga diseases niya, ano yung kanyang mga reactions. Okay. So summary lang siya ng diniscuss. Also this one, another summary ng kanyang laboratory testing. Pagdating sa treatment, so ano yung drug of choice sa mga streptococcus? Penicillin pa rin kasi ang drug of choice. Okay, penicillin. For the pyogenes, walang resistant pattern for the penicillin. Also for the Agalactiae, penicillin pa rin siya. However, class, for the pneumonia, yes, meron tayo resistance to penicillin. So that's why you may give the patient other antibiotic tulad ng fluoroquinolones. Pwede yan. Trimethoprim, macrolides, pwede ibigay na sa patient. Okay? For the viridans, same siya kay pneumonia. Yes, meron the resistant pattern. So you may give aminoglycoside, vancomycin din pwede. Okay? For the Enterococcus naman, again, you can give, kapag UTI yan, just give the patient antibiotic for UTI. Okay? Pero kapag hindi siya nag-react, kapag resistant, you may give the patient the gentamicin, aminoglycoside, linezolid, and even the penicillin din, pwede rin, or vancomycin. Those are the treatment options for Enterococcus. So that's the topic, class. Do you have any questions, class? May tanong po ba? Do you have questions? Okay.